Provider handoff will be discussed in this module in the context of patient care being transferred from one provider to another. It will discuss the documentation flow of the process through the note completion and the final sign-off. In every template, fields for handoff documentation are housed in the Course tab. These can be completed by the associated providers as a summation of the transfer of care and the time and date that report is given. The Course tab also has areas for the receiving provider to document the care transfer as well as plan of care going forward. The handoff documentation will remain part of the medical record, and it does appear in the provider note. Outgoing providers will utilize Quick Save or select Submit and save as a draft. This will save your documentation for future reference and completion. The draft status of the note is visible to all members of the care team. The draft is modified and completed by the oncoming provider and will contain all documentation added by all members of the care team during that emergency department visit. To complete the documentation for the visit, the oncoming provider will highlight the current visit document and review it. Once the visit has been selected, you would hit Enter and Amend, which is the button near the top right area of the screen. When you select this button, the template will open. All previously entered documentation points are available for review by the oncoming provider, but cannot be modified. Documentation can only be modified by the original author. When you access the template, data fields on the template that have a gray font indicate that there is previously documented data which is available for view. In this screen, you see that the handoff has been documented earlier, and scrolling through the fields that are low lit allow you to see the previous data points entered by the preceding provider. You will now finish the remaining data points in the template and document the disposition of the patient. After you have completed your documentation, click Submit to review your full document. Sign the note when all edits are completed. When there are multiple authors on one document, the note will show as Signed status in clinical review until all authors have signed off on the note. When the initial user logs back into the system, the alert for unsigned orders and documents will appear. Select Yes to access your sign queue, just like you do now to co-sign orders. All pending notes will appear under the Reports category. These are notes that are pending completion or those that are submitted to a supervising provider for a co-sign. The notes can be viewed or signed directly without amendment, or the template can be reopened and additional documentation can be added at this time. When you're in your sign queue, you will have two buttons to select from: View Detail and Submit. View Detail accesses a preview of the note and allows you to review it. Submit will allow you to directly sign the note off without review by entering your PIN. When you're previewing your note, you will see several buttons which are highlighted along the bottom of the screen. The Return button will bring you back to the list in your sign queue. The Edit button will open the template for modification and completion of the document. The Unqueue button is only used if this note was sent to your queue in error by a PA or a mid-level that is requesting a cosign. You would never use this for a patient where you had been the second author on a document. This is strictly to use if the note had been sent to you in error. In a shared document, you will notice the documentation will indicate the author of each data point. All documents are signed with your electronic PIN. When all authors have signed the note, its status will change in clinical review to e-signed. The document will also display an electronic signature for each individual author. When the sign-off is complete, the note will be released from medical records if it has been requested to do so.